Welcome to Hockeywiztalks podcast. Today I'll be analyzing the conference finals of the NHL playoffs. Here's my analysis of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Boston Bruins have a commanding 3-0 lead in the series against the Carolina Hurricanes. There seems to be nothing the Carolina Hurricanes can do that can face the Boston Bruins. After playing in the tough first two rounds, the Boston Bruins seem prepared for anything the Hurricanes have game planned. The Bruins entered the third period of Game 1 down 2-1, but scored two power play goals in 28 seconds of the third period to give the Bruins a 3-2 lead. The Bruins would go on to add two more goals to win Game 1 5-2. The Bruins took a 2-0 lead in this series after a 6-2 rout of the Hurricanes in Game 2. Matt Grizzly got 2 goals, Charlie Coyle and Torrey Krug both had 3 assists apiece in the win. The Hurricanes turned to Curtis McElhinney in Game 3, but the Boston Bruins still won Game 3 2-1. Tuukka Rask, who has been stellar all postseason long, made 35 saves in the win. Brad Marchand leads the Boston Bruins in points in the playoffs with 16. David Krejci has 13, and David Pastrnak has 12 points this postseason. Sebastian Aho leads the Hurricanes in points in the playoffs with 12. Jacob Slavin has 11, and Jordan Staal has 10 points this postseason. Tuukka Rask has been stellar this postseason. He is 11-5 with a 1.96 GAA and .939 save percentage. Peter Mrazek and Curtis McElhinney have split goaltending duties, so it's only right to mention both their stat lines. In the postseason, Peter Mrazek is 5-5 with a 2.73 GAA and .894 save percentage, while Curtis McElhinney is 3-1 with a 1.70 GAA and .943 save percentage. If the Carolina Hurricanes want to make a comeback in this series, they might have to make some lineup changes. The first change Carolina should make is put Brett Pesce back with Jacob Slavin, as they make a great shutdown pair. Then move Calvin DeHaan to the second pair to play with Justin Falk. This would leave Dougie Hamilton to play on the third pair with Hayden Fleury. While Justin Williams is a great player, at this point in his career, he should play on the third line. So what I would do is move Michael Furlan up to the top line to play with Sebastian Aho and Nino Niederreiter. I would also swap Lucas Walmart and Greg McKegg, so Walmart should be the third line center, and he would center Warren Foegele and Justin Williams. And this would also bump Brock McGinn down to the fourth line to play with Greg McKegg and Saku Mainilainen. Making these changes would give Carolina a much more balanced roster. If the Boston Bruins continue to play like they have for the first 3 games, they should be a lock for the finals. Here's my analysis of the Western Conference Finals. The San Jose Sharks lead their best-of-7 series against the St. Louis Blues 2-1. Through the first 3 games, both teams seem to be pretty evenly matched. However, San Jose has gotten some lucky bounces. It is apparent that the NHL really wants the Sharks in the Stanley Cup Finals. One could argue that the Sharks could have been knocked out in the first round. One could have argued that the Sharks could have been knocked out in the first round, but with the help of the officials, they are now a few games away from the Stanley Cup Finals. The San Jose Sharks took the lead in the Western Conference Finals after winning Game 1 6-3. Timo Meier and Logan Couture had 2 goals and assists in the victory. The St. Louis Blues tied the series at 1 by winning Game 2 4-2. Robert Bortuzzo scored his first career NHL playoff goal to put the Blues up by 1 in the second period, and Oscar Sundqvist added a goal in the third period. The third game of the series was really wild. The 2 teams traded leads, with the Sharks at one point leading 3-1. Then the Blues scored 3 unanswered goals to put them up 4-3. Logan Couture, who has been clutch all postseason long for San Jose, tied the game in the third period to send it to overtime. Then Erik Karlsson scored the game-winning goal 5:23 into overtime to give the Sharks the 5-4 win. This was a controversial goal because the play should have been blown dead on a hand pass. Logan Couture leads the Sharks in points in the playoffs with 20. Timo Meier and Brent Burns have 16 points, and Erik Karlsson has 15 points in the postseason. Jaden Schwartz leads the Blues in points in the playoffs with 13, and Alex Pietrangelo has 12 points this postseason. Martin Jones has been amazing this postseason. He is 10-6 with a 2.89 GAA and a .903 save percentage. Jordan Binnington has been solid this postseason. He is 9-7 with a 2.67 GAA and .904 save percentage. For St. Louis, in order to get Ryan O'Reilly going, I think the Blues should be using the Bozak line as their second line, because that is their most consistent line. Doing this would also allow O'Reilly to be used as a shutdown center, and you can match him up against the Pavelski line. Defensively, the Blues need more from Vince Dunn, who showed flashes of brilliance this season, but had some struggles in the playoffs. If at all possible, the Blues need to have Alex Pietrangelo shadowing Logan Couture. So this would mean the O'Reilly line is matched against Joe Pavelski, and the Pietrangelo pair is against the Couture line. For this strategy to work, the Blues need to put Oscar Sundqvist on the line with Ryan O'Reilly and David Perron. And by doing this, it would bump Sammy Blais to the fourth line to play with Ivan Barbashev and Alex Steen. And Ivan Barbashev would move over to center. Making these changes would give the Blues the best chance to win. However, with the San Jose Sharks clicking on all cylinders, and the NHL seemingly siding with San Jose, it seems like they are destined to be in the Stanley Cup Finals. In my next podcast, I'll be talking about if the Stanley Cup playoffs are rigged.